Okay, how much money do you need for your first Amazon FBA product? People ask me this all the time, and I hear hugely different valuations. Okay, so I wanted to tell you first of all about my first product, right? We all remember our first time, right? So here, this is my very first product, right? Now, this product here, I found it within about a month of starting my Amazon FBA research, maybe a bit less, right? Now, I'm really lucky. This product was light. It was low cost to manufacture. It was everything we wanted because we could air freight it in. You know, everything we wanted in a first product, right? Like, I don't necessarily live by those rules. I'm happy if a product is big, it's heavy. I don't mind any of those things as long as the numbers work, right? But this product here cost me $1.10 per unit to manufacture. So basically, I had two of these whistles inside a wee OPP bag, which is a poly bag with my label attached. And that was it, $1.10 X works. That meant that I was responsible basically for getting the product from China to the fulfillment center. Okay. I spent $1.10 per unit, as I said. So it worked out at about $1,000 because I ordered just about nearly enough 1,000 units, right? Not quite, but give or take, right? That was the cost landed in the UK, and then I'd add on a bit of VAT and a bit of duty, right? But like literally, let's just say $1,200 total, right? Sorry, I have to mute my audio, right? Now, generally, a product costs a little bit more than this, right? So I always tell people when they're starting out, don't go in with the idea that, oh, it's only cost me $500 or that I can only order a small product. Please don't do that, because what happens is you limit your research and you pass up great product opportunities for ones that maybe aren't as good, or maybe ones that are a little bit more saturated. Like generally, the smaller the product, I find the more competitive the niche, the more people are trying to sell in it, because everyone has this false belief that you can't sell big products. You can, or you can't sell expensive products. You can, right? And I think that's where you should be aiming. We were on a coaching call last night and we were talking about, low price products. Because remember, this sold at £7.99. Now I was very lucky. I made about £4 profit per unit. But that was back in 2016. Like that niche now is so much more competitive. Now, we were basically saying that you don't want to be selling products under really £15. That's kind of where we're at, right? Then maybe you can, and sometimes you can be a little bit less, but by and large, we want to be £15 plus, if not 20, right? And the reason is this: it gives you more wiggle room. If something goes wrong and your product is only making you £1 profit, your profit's gone like that. Whereas if you're making £5, £6, £7, £8 profit, you lose £1 or £2 profit. Not ideal, but it's not the end of the world. You're still making a profit. And the higher that price goes, the more wiggle room you have. Likewise, like the PPC, yes, different products, different categories have different pricing in terms of PPC cost per click. But by and large, again, the higher the price, the more higher PPC cost you can sustain. But also, like, a little increase in PPC isn't going to sink you. Whereas on this, potentially it would. And it did actually in this in the end. It was one of the reasons why it just didn't work as well. Actually, there was a patent on this and I didn't realize it, and that's why I couldn't sell it in the UK anymore. But then the other markets, the PPC just started getting more and more expensive, and I didn't have the wiggle room to actually maintain my margins. So it just got to the point where I just wasn't making anything. Like it wasn't worth holding it anymore. Whereas more expensive products, I can sustain it, I can increase the price, and people are happy. Whereas this, there is a limit. Okay, but I digress. You're wondering, how much money do you need to launch an Amazon FBA product, a private label product, tomorrow if you were starting out from scratch? Okay, I'm not going to cover business formation. I'm not going to cover mentoring. I'm not going to cover like IP, anything like that, right? I'm just going to cover the hard cost of the product. I'm not saying you don't need those things. You do, and ideally I would recommend them. But if we were to talk about the product, if I decided to launch a product tomorrow, I would always recommend having a budget of between £2,500 and £3,500. That will cover 90% of the orders you will make for the test order, right? And the whole point of the test order is to order the minimum order quantity to prove viability. So if, for example, we were ordering a product and we were ordering 200 units, okay? I would like to send maybe half to the UK, half to the US, or maybe 75% to the UK and 25% to the US. I want to just get the smallest order possible and test it in as get the best bang for buck. So basically get that money to go as far as possible in my test. My next orders, I might increase that. So that's why I always recommend, if someone asks me, between £2,500, £3,500 should get you 90% of the products we identify from China into the UK and also maybe some into the US. But if you have that budget, you'll be fine. I heard someone recently talk about a budget of 15,000. You don't need that. Like, there is some products that perhaps will need that sort of budget, but I actually wouldn't be recommending that for a first product. 2.5, 3.5 for the product, and you'll be fine. Folks, if you're enjoying this, please subscribe. Any questions that you're not sure about, down below in the comments. And there's ways you can work with me in the bio as well. So it's all there for you folks. Take care.